listening to That's Too Far.
The only show that you would trust its host to stick its fingers inside of your sister.
Bowling.
Speaking of bowling with a girl, I'm always going back to this shit. People probably don't care, but it was at a gathering in 2002. I'm not going to say their name. But one of our friends was in the crowd, like, closer to the front. I was, like, right behind him. And some girl was crowd surfing, man. And he just fucking plugged her. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
I had the same shit happen with somebody that I brought to a concert. Motherfuckers are... It's usually the people at their first concert. But any chick that crowd surfs at a concert, I feel sorry for you. I promise I'm not one of the ones who assaulted you.
I didn't do it either.
But this motherfucker, I took him to a concert. You know who you are. I took him to a concert. I believe it was Hell's Pit. And this chick was crowd surfing. And later on, he goes, Yo, Jim, dude, this chick was crowd surfing, yo. I put both of my fingers inside her pussy, dog. She wasn't wearing no panties.
Well, she might have been asking for it.
Maybe, but still.
I mean, I wouldn't fucking do it. I'm just saying.
For one...
Like, I'm not that hard up, I guess.
For one, horribly unsanitary. For two, any bitch that's at an ICP concert, ugly.
Well, that's not completely true.
For two, any bitch, 3/4 of the bitches, 7/8 of the bitches at an ICP concert, fugly as shit.
I've seen people say that about the gathering. Mm-hmm. Like all the girls are fucked up looking. Not true, man.
That's the girls that are taking their tops off, though. The hotties. That's staying on.
Top staying on. At the concerts, at the regular concerts, usually the hot girls are what you would consider normal looking, I guess. Like they might have on like a fucking hoodie and a pair of jeans. And then the ones that wear barely nothing are just fucking disgusting looking. They look like an STD.
You're listening to That's Too Far. Lowering standards so you can get fucked. We went to the fucking Fuck the Fuck Off concert. And Shaggy's wife was in attendance in the crowd.
How'd she look?
I didn't personally see her, but Bob handed off his jacket to Timmy, who promptly handed it off to this blonde chick, who turned out to be Shaggy's wife.
Hold this, bitch.
Timmy's like, can you hold this for me? I need to go find my friend. She was like, yeah, sure. And then she grabbed it, and I guess Mark was standing there, and she goes, I can't believe that this motherfucker just handed me this jacket. Like, I'm not somebody. Like, does he even fucking know who I am?
I'd have been kind of salty about that, too. Even though I'm nobody. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't holding your jacket.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have grabbed it in the first place. Like, props to her for grabbing it.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Shout out to Shaggy's wife.
Ex-wife now, I think. For
holding our friend's jacket.
My cousin played pool with either his girlfriend or his future wife. I seen her. Mm-hmm. They were playing pool. She was hot. Whatevs. No bigs.
Later on that night, Bob was... I think that was this concert that this happened. Bob had gotten extremely fucked up.
It was the same concert.
This was in Detroit. Bob got fucked up before the show and ended up walking through the streets of Detroit. And he disappeared from the line. I was like, Bob, where are you going? He was like, it's okay, man, I'm with my friend. And he was walking around with this homeless dude. And he comes back around the corner later with this, like, Nike bag. It's like, Bob, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, it's okay, man, he's showing me around. Comes back later without the Nike bag. It's like, Bob, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, man, I just went to this badass barbershop.
This is the one where Bob fucking... went to the barbershop and got his head shaved smooth bald. Mm-hmm. And also bought a pair of fucking brand new tennis shoes.
Yep.
That was what was in the Nike bag, right? Was new shoes.
Yeah, dude, some new ass shoes, which I didn't find out until later.
He probably spent like a ridiculous amount of money on those shoes, by the way.
He did, and I'm getting to that. So Bob disappears and I don't see him again until inside the show, where he is like a zombie walking around. He was so drunk, dude. It was ridiculous how drunk this dude was. After the show, I find Bob. Bob is throwing up all over the back of the fucking venue. Rude Boy comes out and starts yelling at Bob, get this motherfucker out of here. He's throwing up all over the back of the venue, right? So then a cop pulls up after that. And the cop pulls up and goes, "Hey, you!" And Bob goes, "What?" He goes, "How old are you?" Bob goes, 87! And flips the cop off. So I go extreme white boy for a second there. I went, "Officers, I'm very sorry. He's had a little bit too much to drink. I'm the one driving. I haven't had a drop. I'm just gonna let him finish throwing up, and then we're gonna drive home, okay?" And they go, "Okay, but you make sure to get this motherfucker out of here." I will. If you don't know, every cop in Detroit is a fucking monster. Either one of them could have easily whooped all of our collective asses.
You gotta be.
Yeah. So I scoop up Bob, take him in the car. The next day he calls me. He was like, "Yo, Jim, man, I was so drunk last night, dude. I bought these like $300 pair of Nikes. And this homeless dude told me I could stash them in this alley and they'd be safe there. Yo, so you think you can take me back up to Detroit so I can go find my shoes?"
Hey, it wasn't just shoes in that bag though. It was like possibly something that's not completely legal inside the bag, and then a shitload of cash too.
Oh man, I would have driven him up if I didn't have work, but I had work. I would have driven him just for the adventure, just so I could follow where all Bob went, because he didn't remember exactly what alley, so he was gonna go back through his trails, and I was really curious to see where all that motherfucker went.
Nah, dude, somebody took him up there. He couldn't find it.
I
Somebody took him
know
back.
somebody did. It wasn't me though. I had work.
I think it was Smog that took him up there. I'm not sure. Someone took him up there to look for the shit and they couldn't find it.
Yeah. Well, no shit.
If anybody knows,
This homeless dude told me to stash him in an alley.
well, the plan was to find a bum rocking some brand new shoes, and they were going to get him back off of him. They're going to beat his ass and take his shoes back.
Good luck with that, man. There's some thug-ass bums in Detroit.
The bums are in general thugs. Like, they've been living on the street for however long. They're pretty much fucking tougher than you. You sleep in a bed.
Man, going to shows, going to concerts, you can really tell the difference between the homeless people in different cities. Like in fucking Columbus, they're all hippies. I had one try to sell me a phone card one time, and he was the nicest dude ever, wearing a tie-dye shirt. In Cleveland, they're all pretty much just like skitsy crackheads. Pretty much skitsy crackheads.
In Cincinnati, all the bums down there are like fucking runaway punk rock kids.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep. I had two of them. It was a chick and a dude come up to me and they were like, "Hey man, yo, can you spare a few dollars so that a couple of broke kids can see a concert?" And like I could like smell the coke.
You smell the meth.
Yeah, smell some substance coming off of them, and I was like, no, because you're lying.
I used to be real fucking bad about giving bums money.
Yeah.
I used to do it all the time. I'd just give them a couple bucks. And then I thought about it. I was like, really, I'm fucking, I'm just helping them go get some crack.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm doing. I went to a concert in Detroit, come out, and this fucking crackhead lady, who was clearly a fucking crackhead, was fucking, like, she was waiting on me because she knew I was the only fucking sucker in the whole place. She was like, Mister, I just rode my bike all the way here from East Detroit. Some man showed me his thing. You think you got a couple dollars I could have? I was like, yeah, I guess so. I gave the bitch $10. And then she goes, I'm gonna go see if somebody else can't help me. Like, you fucking bitch. I just gave you a $10 bill. There's a meal right there.
Play that story back. So her card for getting $10 was some man showed me his thing.
Yeah. She said, and I was over by such and such street, and some man showed me his thing. And then my girl was pregnant at the time, and she looked at her and said, I'm in the same situation you're in.
Oh, shit, dude. One time in Detroit, before a Hollow Wicked show, there was this really, really fucking convincing bum. Like, this dude could have won a Grammy. He was walking along with his cup. Dude had a cup. He was legit. He had a fucking cup. Biggest, saddest puppy dog eyes ever. And he went, please, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And then this other bum that had his foot in a cast came up and jacked his jaw, dude. Knocked that bum out. He went, "This my fucking street. This my fucking street. You get the fuck off my street, motherfucker."
You could be hungry somewhere else.
Oh, man. That was amazing.
One time I was in downtown Dayton,
Uh-huh.
4 o'clock in the morning. I'm thirsty as fuck, and I got a little bit of a walk ahead of me, so I fucking run into this BP, and as soon as I go in, man, there's like fucking 4 bums in there just hanging out. One of them hits me for $1, so, like I said, I was a fucking idiot, so I gave it to him. And then after I give him the $1 and buy my fucking drink, I get like not a foot outside, and the other one wobbles out there after me like, "Oh man, you shouldn't have gave that loudmouth motherfucker $1. You should have gave it to me. I only got one leg." And I lifted up his pant leg. He had a falsie on. I was like, maybe I should have gave it to you. I was like, sorry. He's like, what I'm basically trying to say is you got another $1. Oh man, I'm sorry. And I just felt bad.
Oh, man.
He's like, I'm a war veteran. I'm like, fuck. What if he's telling the truth? He really did only have one leg. That's too far. I've been shitting all weekend, so my bunghole is rawer than a fucking old steak.
Shout out to fucking Scotty D from FagoLovers.net.
Yeah, big shout out.
Jesus.
He's allowed to rest his nuts on my chin now.
For those of you that don't know, FagoLovers.net is pretty much the fucking underground horrorcore music website. It's
one of the last few websites, period, that exists that isn't owned by a major corporation. Like, of course every fucking TV channel has a website or whatever, but there's not a whole lot of websites nowadays. Like everything has a Facebook and a Twitter.
Yeah, this shit is old. It's like over a decade old at least.
Well,
Wait, older than that. Probably like,
it's at least 13 years old.
At least. And I've been going to it since I was a fucking young teen.
I was going to it back in 2000, so that's how I know it's at least 13 years old.
Yeah, it was called something else back then, wasn't it?
Fago Lovers Heaven.
Yeah, I remember like one day I had to type in something else when it became FagoLovers.net. But, so we would go to this website for fucking umpteen years, and they shared our shit on there, which was fucking amazing. And it started out as a fucking disagreement between us and one of the moderators, and it turned into me talking to the fucking CEO and him offering to do something, even if he said that he'll at least listen to it, even if it's not a fucking news story posting, because he doubted that could happen. And then he listened to it, and we got posted on the front page of the news headlines. So thank you, awesome. Scotty.
And what the disagreement was me spamming the fuck out of their comments section.
Yeah.
Like, come and listen to my shit. Please, I'll suck your dick, baby. Come and listen to it, please. That's all that was.
Yep.
Shit, shout out to our 2 newest likes, because I looked at their pages. They're both Blackhawk fans. I've been a Blackhawk fan my whole life. Shout out to both you guys. Stanley Cup!
Dude, you like the Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Would you like the Blackhawks in your mouth?
Oh, fucking clever son of a bitch. Is this life imitating art?
Emulating. That's the word you're looking for.
It's not imitating?
Emulating.
No, it's imitating.
Imitating?
Yeah.
No, it's emulating, dog.
Dude.
I'm telling you.
It's imitating.
Imitating, that's where you like trying to act like something else. Emulating, that's where it reflects.
You're thinking of intimidating.
No, intimidating is where you punk somebody out. Emulating, that means it reflects.
Yeah, imitating just means is your life imitating your art? Is it pretending to be the same? How do we go down this road?
I'm lost.
I'm victorious. People at home fucking let us know. Is it life imitating art or life emulating art? I think I'm right.
I know I'm right.
No. Google it.
I'm positive. I can't Google it, because if I Google it, then it's going to fuck up our sound again.
I Googled it. It says you're fucking wrong.
Oh, does it? Fuck
That's
Google.
Exactly what it says.
Bing it. Bing it on, motherfucker. That's the one thing. That's the one thing. After the early aughts, the internet was like the only thing that didn't get turned off in my house for some reason. We'd have the electricity go out for some reason the internet would still be paid. When the electricity came on, the internet would be on. The fucking water would go out. At least we got the internet. The fucking
Life is still good.
the gas would go out. We'd be like, let's Google how to stay warm.
Gotta have that entertainment factor when you're living the poor life.
Yep.
Whew. Not my house. When I was a kid, man, it all went out. We didn't have internet. The worst is the water. That's the absolute worst thing that can be turned off on you.
Oh, dude, I was lucky. We had an electric well outside.
With water, there's no excuse. There's no, if your power gets turned off and someone shows up to your house, you can be like, oh, I just don't feel like having nothing on. Just felt like lighting some candles. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And if,
Yeah, that's what you tell your neighbors.
if the water gets shut off, there's just no explanation. You can't shit in that toilet. Why not? Because I can't flush it.
We had an electric well outside, so when the water got shut off, it was all good. We just go out to the electric well, turn it on, fill up a big ass, like, gumbo pot full of water, bring it inside, heat it up on the stove, fill up the bathtub, fill up the back of the toilet. It was
Not
all
us, bro.
gravy.
We had to go to other people's houses to take showers. Like my aunt lived right around the corner. We'd go over there. Stuff like that. But we had a swimming pool in the backyard. So to flush the toilet, if you had to take a dump or a pee, you better go grab the fucking red bucket, take your ass outside and go fill it up out of the pool.
That's awesome.
Fill up the back of that toilet. Don't be leaving no boo-boo in that toilet.
Not unless you want to eat it again.
But then I became an adult and, moved out on my own. And I had some anger issues towards my parents when the water being shut off because I realized, like, a fucking water bill's nothing. It's the cheapest one of all the bills. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. Why couldn't y'all pay $40? That's ridiculous. Builds character, having your shit shut off.
Yep.
Right now, listen to this, there's two sects of people. Those that can relate and those that are just like, I've never experienced none of that.
Dude, you become a fucking MacGyver. You learn to adapt when your shit gets turned off when you're a kid.
Yeah. Like my dad, he'd turn our water back on and go ahead and just park the car on top of the fucking well thing. Mm-hmm. So that way, the city people couldn't come and turn it back on.
That's sly.
You know what he did once? He went to a fucking abandoned house and took the electric meter. I'm saying shit that could probably get him thrown in jail, but whatever. He took the electric meter off the back of the house, so he would swap it out with ours. Because if you turn your power back on illegally, they can tell by the meter.
Yeah.
So he'd swap out the fucking meter.
That's awesome.
MacGyver. My dad's like the broke man's MacGyver.
Dude, when I was a kid, when the fucking, say the heat got turned off, I'd go into my laundry room, and I'd turn on the dryer, and I'd fucking just, like, sit, like, next to the dryer and fall asleep. And then after that hour was done, I'd have to wake up and turn it back on again. It was awesome.
We had, propane heaters.
Oh, nice.
And the stove. That's how often our shit was shut off, though, that a conscious decision was made to go get some propane heaters because we knew we'd most likely need them. Mm-hmm. And the thing is about Ohio, though, is once it gets below a certain temperature for the last few years, they have to turn your shit back on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it like that back in the day?
No, because I went through many winter days.
I was about to say, I remember freezing my ass off next to a dryer. This is the most depressing episode of That's Too Far so far.
Feel our pain. But yeah, man, once it gets so cold, they're not allowed to turn your shit off. Which I've become the master of that because you get the fucking regular disconnect notice from DP&L, and then you get the winter disconnect notice.
You know there's no such thing as a gas bill down here?
There's not?
Gas doesn't exist, bruh. Everything's electric.
Everyone has electric?
Yeah, I have a fucking heat pump to heat my house. There's no such thing as gas. It doesn't get cold enough down here for gas. So we just got this fucking heat pump thing that supposedly it's this pipe that like sticks really far down into the fucking ground, and then it like radiates the heat from inside of the ground up, and then when that's not enough, there's like these little electric heating coils that kick on to help heat your house.
They're like,
No
we
gas.
think it works. We're
It-
not sure.
it fucking
never
works.
gets below 60.
Telling you it works.
If I lived down there, my heat would never be on. Fucking with you guys complaining about some 60 degrees, it's cold out. Look at my balls.
You think that until you get used to it, man.
Fucking
Until you're
dusting the
acclimated.
snow. You guys get that dusting of snow and it shuts shit down. It's 3,000 wrecks.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. School gets canceled here if like a snowflake falls. I would have loved going to school here as a kid, man.
Jesus, take the wheel. If you were ever in a situation where you're about to fucking slide off a cliff, would you go on ahead and let go and ask Jesus to take the wheel?
No.
Yeah, 'cause you have to be at the bottom of that cliff.
Not only that, but I've said some pretty, what's the word for non-religious?
Jesus is going to make sure you hit every bump on the way down, motherfucker.
Coining a new phrase here, atheistic things. In my time. So.
Jesus is going to be like, yeah, I'll take the wheel, but you ain't going to like the end results, smart ass.
Jesus, take the wheel. It just starts spinning. Oh, fuck. Jesus, you're drunk.
How about I take the car, too? And now the car's fucking doing barrel rolls. That Jesus, he's a vengeful God. Did you ever, when you were a kid, fucking, it snowed real bad the night before, so you were so sure that you weren't going to school next day, you stayed up real late? And then fucking 2 hours after you fall asleep, you're being woken up and told you gotta go to school.
Yup. One time, dude, I was pissed. Like, outside, the roads were covered in snow and ice. I remember I went outside with, like, a little pocket knife and, like, chiseled it, and it was, like, an inch down in ice, and school was still on. It's like, fuck. What the hell?
I used to throw fits over that shit. I just stayed up till 6 a.m. It's only 7. Damn you.
I used to be pissed until I started high school, and then I'd just skip.
No, that's what I did too in high school. But fucking skipping was difficult for me.
Not for me.
'Cause, like, I could skip and be fine as long as I didn't go home all day.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be somewhere else. And it just became too much of a hassle to even bother to skip. Might as well just go to fucking school.
I was unsupervised, dude. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted.
So, both my parents worked, but one of them would be home at all times.
Yeah.
My dad, I believe, worked second shift, and my mom worked first, so somebody was always home, so I couldn't just go fuck back home. Fucking sucked. I'd go over to my cousin's house, fucking crash. So most of the time when I skipped, I would just went to sleep. It just meant I got to sleep longer that day. Or I'd just sleep in my fucking car, like a loser. Most people are like, I skipped and was partying, smoking little weed, snorting, all that shit. Not me. I'm like, I went to Myers and parked and went to sleep. True story. One time I was fucking passed out of sleep on a day I was skipping in the parking lot of Myers in my car, and one of the Myers workers started banging on my window to make sure I was alive. Which I would park so far in the back, I would be fucking way away from any other car, but somehow I don't know. Maybe they were coming to break into my car and seeing someone was in there.
Yeah, maybe. You're listening to That's Too Depressing. Shake out your cum rag, because you're going to need it to cry in.
Yeah, because this is about to get real depressing.
About to get real depressing.
Go ahead.
In the winter, like, I couldn't skip like that, because I had a geo tracker that...
I remember.
The heat barely fucking worked in it, right? And so many people, like, tried to break into it to fucking steal what isn't in there. Like, anybody who broke into it must have been real fucking depressed once they got in there. Because there wasn't shit. Anyway, it had plastic windows in the back. And the plastic windows would get cut out by fucking crackheads trying to break into it. And, so eventually my back windows were just gone. Like they didn't exist. So in the winter, I had to take a blanket and I had to throw it up over my back windows whenever I parked the car so that it wouldn't snow inside my fucking car.
That's awesome. Your car was like a hobo tent.
It was, dude. And then when I drove, I had to take it off and put it in the back seat. But then when I parked, the blanket went back over it. So if back in the day you ever saw a busted-ass Geo Tracker with a blanket over the top, that was me.
West
Shout
West,
out
y'all
to me.
represent. Shout out to you.
Dude, I have the worst fucking luck with cars. The
Yeah,
worst.
no kidding.
Shit. Remember when I had that Mustang for 5 minutes?
You got to set the whole story up. Jim had gotten a Mustang. It was a really nice car too. It was a newer Mustang. I remember
It was a 95.
he was finalizing all the papers, so excited about it. And like 2 days later, I talked to one of our friends. He was like, "Yep, Jim wrecked the Mustang already." I'm like, "Oh shit, that sucks." He was like, "Yeah, wrecked it twice."
All right, here's the entire
Damn, twice.
here's the entire breakdown of the Mustang. Get the Mustang. Didn't get to the DMV before the gathering was coming up, and I wanted to fucking go to the gathering. And so I took my Geo Tracker plates off and I put them on my Mustang because I had the chance to go to the DMV yet. So I rode it dirty up to the gathering and back, and then fucking after the gathering, when I still didn't get shit straight with it, I got into this wreck outside of fucking Howard's in New Carlisle. Shout out to you.
Shout out Howard's.
I went to turn left, and there was this bitch that was pulling into Howard's, turning right, and she changed her mind and just decided to keep going straight. Like, instead of continuing to slow down to turn right, she changed her mind about going to the store. So she kept going straight. So I T-boned the cunt. Right? She starts complaining that her neck hurts. My Mustang's almost totaled. Her fucking SUV is fine. Right? She starts complaining that her fucking neck hurts. So the ambulance comes. Turns out I have to pay for that ambulance bill. Her car was only like $200 to fix, which wasn't a thing, but I had to pay for a fucking ambulance bill. And since I wasn't insured, all that shit came out of pocket. Plus, my license got suspended. On the way home from that ordeal, my hood flies up and hits my goddamn windshield. It shatters in my windshield. So I got this big fucking like spiderweb crack on my windshield. I'm pissed. Alright, so now my license is suspended. I owe this cunt like $3,250 after medical bills and the $200 it cost to fix her fender. But Hallowicked's coming up, and I want to go to Hallowicked up in Detroit. So I get in my car, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm on a suspended license, but I'm going. I start driving up to Hallowicked, right? I get like 3/4 of the way there, and in Wapakoneta, Ohio, I get pulled over by a cop. And the cop pulls me over for going 2 miles underneath the speed limit when it was raining. He gives me a ticket and tells me I'm not allowed to drive home. So I pull off to the side of the road, and I called one of my buddies who was driving up to the concert, and he circles back and gets me. And go to the concert or whatever, and I planned on picking up my car on the way back, right? But the fucking cop was like sitting like right there. So I drove back home. I call our friend KFC, and he fucking picks me up and he takes me up to Wapakoneta. And I forgot my goddamn, they like fell out of my pocket in his apartment. So he's like, "Jim, I'm gonna kick you in the fucking nuts." So we drive all the way the fuck back, and I get my keys, and then my buddy Jamie drives me back up there to get it. So I get the car out of Wapakoneta, drive the fuck back home, right? Get back home. 2 days later, I get busted in Springfield, driving on a suspended license. 2 days after that, I get busted in Dayton, driving on a suspended license. I end up going to all 3 court dates, and none of them fucking knew about each other, so each one just sentenced me to an additional 6 months of suspension, but the time was up on each one at the exact same time, because the system was so fucking slow back then that they didn't even know about each other. So I ended up it was just like it happened once. It was awesome.
I had similar situations going with multiple fucking county courts. I'm not going to talk about those situations because they weren't simple driving without a license charges, but
yeah,
I was on probation in several different places at the same time, and they never found out about each other. All right, everybody, this has been That's Too Far. Thanks for listening. That's my kid in the background screaming, "I gotta go."
With the The plug.